Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ty, and I had the pleasure of playing Dying Light the Beast early. Well, I actually did technically twice. Once at Summer Game Fest, and more recently Techland's hands-on event for Dying Light the Beast, and I would have brought you all the juicy details sooner, but your boy got hacked. It's been a rough past month, but we're back and we have a lot to discuss. Firstly, meet Bear, the mascot for Castor Woods. No one knew this dude existed until he appeared at the event, so it was quite the shock to pull up and see this giant beaver walking around like we're at a football game, but it works. Especially when you look at the recent trailers they've been doing with it. Techland is definitely having a lot of fun with the concept, I can tell, and I love to see it. So once I arrived at the event, we got a little introduction from Taman and dove right into playing, where I didn't leave the chair for 4 hours straight. Combine that with the demo I experienced at Summer Game Fest, and I've played over 5 hours of Dying Light the Beast, and so, as you may expect, I have a lot to say, so let's finally dive into it. I've been a fan of Dying Light for a very long time, and so I'm very happy to say that this game is a great time with little bugs, an interesting handcrafted world to explore, fun set pieces to experience, and a package that actually feels like a full-on standalone game and not a DLC like it initially started as. Of course, it isn't perfect. I even have a few controversial takes that'll tilt a few heads, but you'll understand when the time comes. Anyways, the gameplay session starts soon after the first main mission, where we then meet Olivia face to face, who will soon become our main ally for the story. From there, we're hunting down Chimera, which are new mutated special infected. We're saving and meeting new survivors, running bandits off the streets and flipping trucks. It can get pretty wild out there. Castor Woods is very much a new version of the countryside from the first Dying Light, with an absolutely beautiful coat of paint. Most of the map is realistically forests, swamps, roads, but it's so dense with different types of interiors, from the safe zones you'll unlock to the caves and railroad tunnels you'll often come across. Sure, it's not a vast city like some prefer in their zombie games, but it has enough variety that I don't think a lot of people will care. Of course, you'll be finding all types of different gear throughout, and visually they all very well fit the theme. Out of the 5 hours of Dying Light the Beast I've played, many of the highlights came from every fight I had with a Chimera. These are the new mutations created by the main antagonist, the Baron. Initially, I expected them to have a new visual look and a few new moves, and they do, but they're also so much more. Every fight has a unique battle arena with a story purpose, being to extract the Chimera's blood so Kyle can regain his strength. Both the Reaper and the Mist fight, which are the Charger and Banshee Chimeras, were top-notch as some of the best boss battles Techland has ever done, straight up. The music also very much helps elevate this to a whole new level. I did think the fights were a little easy, but I'm sure whatever the Chimera Volatile is will be an absolute freak. One cool detail I noticed was as you kill the Chimera in the story, they're added to the map in your room, so maybe like in the first game, other little trinkets and items are added around to make it more yours as you progress. And if so, that's a nice little addition and throwback. Alright, it's about time we talk about Kyle's new beast abilities. We've waited years to finally take control after getting briefly teased a little when we played as Aiden back in the second game. Now though, we can activate this whenever we please by building up an infected meter. By killing infected, speaks for itself. Sometimes though, the beast unleashes out of nowhere, adding an unexpected thrill to the most random of moments. As for the beast abilities themselves, they're pretty fun. They're about what you expect. For the most part, you're batting a zombie, sending a shockwave by pounding the ground, jumping high into the air to make an escape. Occasionally, you'll tear a zombie in half or shove your hand through its chest like it's a Mortal Kombat game. It played very well, did the job, but I'm hoping to get crazier with it, because I looked at the skill tree itself and it had nothing to make me say, holy shit, and just make me go like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, man. But I'm sure they're keeping a few surprises up their sleeves, so we'll have to wait and see. I think I just want to do a prototype game. Y'all remember that? We've known for a while now cars are going to be a big part of Dying Light the Beast, but after actually spending some time driving them around, seeing how they work, I have to say they're almost perfect. While I wish they were a little faster, they do feel great to drive, enough so to get some decent jumps going on. If you aren't careful, zombies will jump and crawl along the truck, potentially destroying it and leaving you stranded. However, if you do get too overwhelmed, you can just bust and jump out your door like it's no problem. And if you're playing in co-op, you could shoot out of a window while a friend drives. They thought of a lot here. What they didn't think of was how often the truck would get stuck. I wish to get around this, they made the environment a little bit more destructible. My mind goes back to Arkham Knight, where you could just shred through the street with your Batmobile, and you're driving a Batmobile, makes sense. But here, I just got way too stuck way too often for my liking, but I'm curious what you'll think. Maybe I just suck at driving, I don't know. Also, yes, it's just one type of truck. You can customize it with different skin bundles, but beyond that, there really isn't any customization. There is a UV light already implemented onto it, so there's that. And for those wondering, you can turn off the ground GPS in the settings if that bothers you. One of my favorite additions to Dying Light the Beast is actually the cutscenes. They're much more cinematic, jumping from first person to third person more often, which is a change for the series. However, it isn't ever jarring or really immersion breaking, as you can see a lot of the pivotal moments still from the eyes of Crane, but every once in a while it jumps out and becomes a little bit more ambitious. Sure, the face animations sometimes look a little weird, but beyond that, I think it fits the formula perfectly, and whoever directed these scenes did a fantastic job. It's really a chance to connect with Kyle's emotions more personal this time around, and while I think the game is a little familiar overall, this is one of the big innovations for the series I hope they keep pushing moving forward. Moving on, the nights in Dying Light the Beast might be the scariest they've ever been. The first time I walked outside at night, I was like, damn, you can't see a single thing without that flashlight. But that's cool, they made Dying Light nights actually terrifying again, especially on an audio side of things. So I won't dwell on this for too long, but the parkour is about what you'd expect if you played Dying Light 2, same with the combat. Although, I will admit, I did get grabbed a lot. Like, there were a few fights where I'd hit a zombie and they'd still lock right on. In general, I found it much harder to maneuver around zombies this time around, which for a lot of people, they'll want that challenge, so cool, good for them. But for me, it did get pretty old pretty quick. Dying Light the Beast, for the most part, is quite easy to play, but early on, if you travel too far out, you'll be hit with higher level zones containing infected that'll completely tear you up if you don't keep it moving. What's nice is you can explore these areas to their fullest degree, it's just you'll have a rough time unless you're driving through, and even then it isn't so easy. But really, it's the type of challenge that I think the game really needed to spice it up. You can't just drive across the map and be all fine and dandy. There's a real element of survival there that I appreciate, which is saying a lot considering you're a beast that can literally tear zombies in half, so they found a way to make it work. One thing that was fixed from Dying Light 2 was the annoyingly apparent yellow paint. I know the conversation has run dry at this point, but I always found it a little distracting in Dying Light 2. But here, it was nowhere to be seen or much better blended into the environment or architecture. The mandatory generator puzzles are back from the second game as well, I remember those, but they actually aren't anywhere near as boring as you might think. One of the side quests we played was mostly connecting wires, and even that was still intriguing due to the story behind it, which was to blow up a volatile hive. It genuinely had a really strong emotional core I don't want to spoil, it's that good. Now here is where I give the big controversial opinion of the video, and it's that Kyle didn't really work for me, or in other words, the writing felt a little off. I would just say a lot of the writing felt unnatural, a little weird, stilted. I always found what was going on interesting, don't get me wrong, but every once in a while, I'd hear the weirdest line that just kind of pulled me out of it. It just reminded me, hey, this is a video game and nobody you're looking at is real. It definitely felt like it. There were a few moments and characters where they got close, really close, but they just overall didn't nail it. Oh yeah, almost forgot, there was only 2 bugs in my entire play session. I know, I was blown away too. If you were there for Dying Light 2's launch, you know this is a blessing in disguise. Just a minor little texture bug popping in and out, and this gang of bandits treating me like I was a ghost. Could be much worse. There very well could be a plethora of issues deep within this game, but from what I played, it was all pretty polished. All in all, I had a great time playing Dying Light the Beast. It may not be the most innovative zombie game out there, but Techland has done a great job continuing to crack the formula and nail what they're good at. So, with the game being officially considered Dying Light 3 and having the price of a full-on standalone game, is that worth it? And I would say, yeah, I actually do. It doesn't revolutionize the whole genre, and if anything, it very much is just another Dying Light game. But if you were a fan of the first game, especially that following DLC, you are going to absolutely love this. And if you just need another game in your backlog to play with friends every once in a while, then this can also be that. This is also a fantastic time just to fuck around. But what do you think? Share your thoughts down below and let me know what else you would like to learn about. Thank you all for watching, and for Techland for flying me out to LA and giving me the chance to play the Beast twice. I got loads of Dying Light content on the way, so stay tuned and stop by for the next one, everyone, and adios.